Hi everyone. So I had a question this evening about this assignment that you can see on your screen right now, this Module 2 Anytime, Anywhere Learning. So when I looked at this assignment when I was first reviewing the course, I noticed that the site that's chosen for the blogs is kind of, I don't know, a little bit outdated. I mean, it's fine if you really love it, you're welcome to do that. But I thought, since you're looking at blogs anyway, why don't we look at some current Ontario bloggers, because this is an Ontario course. And so I gave you the option of looking at some of the blogs that Doug Peterson has suggested, because he does something each week on Ontario EduBlog. So I'll have a quick look at that with you. So Doug Peterson is a wonderful retired teacher who's super committed to continuing to connect Ontario educators. So on his blog, and I've left the tabs open here so that you can see the website, dougpete.wordpress.com. You'll notice his latest post, he blogs every single day, has for years. I have lots of respect for that. I have a lot of difficulty getting my blogs to get blogs out. But you'll notice that there are a couple of links here. So This Week in Ontario EduBlogs is the one that I gave you. And if you go in there, each Friday, he goes through and does a little piece on blogs that he has read this week. What I like about that is when we look at those, so here's his one from last week on October 13th. Here are the ones earlier, but he does a little curation of each of the readings. So you can, like, Why Do We Need Heroes? That might or might not interest you. But if it does interest you, then there's a link to that blog and you can go there and read it. So I'm inviting you to check through, some of the blogs and see what it interests you. Maybe you're really, interested in exploring deep learning, and you can see what another Ontario educator is saying, connecting, whatever. So I'll leave that with you. I just wanted to also show you another part on his blog. So he does also have this section called Ontario EduBloggers, and you can go in here. And he keeps a Scoop It collection of Ontario EduBlogs. If you don't know Scoop It was all the rage for curation a few years back. And some people are still using it. But he has collected all these Ontario bloggers. Now, a lot of Ontario bloggers will start and then just kind of leave it. So I didn't send you here because I didn't want you to look at 4 or 5 of these and then go, oh, well, they haven't, posted in the last 2 years or something like that. So I didn't want to send you down a rabbit hole. But if you can see, I know that some of these are fairly new. It's February. I know this Chasing Squirrels blog quite well. I know Chris. So some of these might be of interest to you to go in and check. And notice there's lots and lots and lots of pages here that you can go in and see. I'll also share with you just a few other things. Doug does a piece on VoicEd Radio, and you've heard me talk about VoicEd Radio before. VoicEd Radio is on demand, live 24/7 podcasts about education and some live radio as well. It's really worth checking into, voiced.ca. You'll notice that when you go to VoicEd on Demand, Not a Book Study is the podcast series that we did last year with Kathy Fosno. That's the constructivist look for junior mathematics. If several of you are math teachers, so that's why I'm bringing this up. It's really, really worth your time. And this is the new one that we're doing every Wednesday night. So you can click here and listen to last week's. This Week in Ontario EduBlogs, Doug Pete actually sits down with Stephen Hurley and they do this piece together. There's a lot of them in here that might be interesting to you. Honoured Mentors is one that happens, I think, each week, and it's kind of a live support for new teachers. It's probably worth listening in or listening to any of the old ones. And then there's one, In Conversation. Stephen Hurley does this. He just kind of picks people that are in the education news and has conversations with them. And I think last week he did all of the folks that were presenting at the mental health conference, and the wellness conference. So worth your time as well. Okay, some of my favorite blogs. So people who are really committed to blogging, who are really interesting, I'll share with you. Aviva Dunsinger Oh my goodness, she's prolific, she's reflective, she's an amazing open teacher. If you're not following her on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and her blog, look at how prolific she is. She writes so much, and it's so much from the heart. She talks, I do apologize, none of these pictures are actually coming up. I'm in pretty not great Newfoundland Wi-Fi right now. Or she may have blocked these because they're children too, I'm not entirely sure. But she talks all about what's going on in her classroom and what she's thinking as a teacher. And she asks us to help her with some of her thinking, which is really, really fun to do. I just love checking in with her all the time. She talks about all the different methods that she uses, and you can comment. So if you're into early years, absolutely worth going. When I was working for the Ministry of Education in Ontario, I took people from all across Ontario into her classroom all the time just to see the amazing work she does. This is the kindergarten class that you would want your children to be in. It's quite remarkable. Another one, Matthew Oldridge is well known for his math work in Ontario. Do love chatting with Matthew. Did a podcast with him last year. Lots and lots of thinking about the beauty of math and different ways to use math and different things to do with math. He's a really out-of-the-box thinker and really open to just posting what he thinks. And so you get that sort of raw, hey, let's try this, or here's what I'm thinking right now, which is kind of fun. This is not like reading a research paper. This is just getting inside another math teacher's head. Miss Kit Kat, Tina Zita, probably one of the most creative teachers I know. She works for Peel 21st Century. This woman is dedicated to her craft of being more and more creative and blogging about it. So really hope. I know what's going on here. These are Instagram posts, and this Wi-Fi blocks Instagram. That's why we're not seeing it. Really worth it. She sends out all kinds of challenges like this one. Write about 5 defining moments in your teaching career. But her blog is really worth your time. I've done some remarkable work with this woman over the years, linking Northern and Southern Ontario in some creative work. So definitely worth your time. Stacey Walwyn. Love Stacey's blog because Stacey is probably one of the least self-promoting people I know. She's a learner, just such a humble learner. She's a TELT contact in Northern Ontario. Beautiful. If you go to her blog and you read the very first post, it'll make you cry, guaranteed. She's also a boat nerd, and so she just is. I send her pictures of ships whenever I'm in the Great Lakes. She's a boat nerd, has her kids Skyping with ships that go through the Great Lakes, talks about how she supports multi-grade classrooms in small and remote communities by reading stories to grade 2 classes or grade 1 classes through Google Hangout. Just a really remarkable person, does a lot of book reviews. She's an avid reader. And what I love about this is it sometimes saves me from reading the book because I'll read what she's posted here. There's one on social media who's from Jennifer Castatotti, who's an Ontario teacher as well. Lots and lots and lots of these beautiful book reviews that help you figure out if this is worth reading for you. Shares her favorite parts of it. So definitely worth your time. And then my dear friend Brandon Graisley, who is a wonderful, innovative math teacher from Algoma District School Board. Brandon has had a pretty remarkable career over the last 10 years, was a highly innovative teacher, and then decided to go back to the classroom. And here he's talking about trying to start a gaming club. He's got some really, really interesting ideas, and what I love is it's also just really raw. He's very, very open about what he posts, shares everything that he does to try to encourage others to try it as well. So his blog is all about enabling people to do great things. So as you can see, there's tons and tons of capacity right here in Ontario, and it's why I wanted to direct you to start learning from some of the people so dedicated to putting resources out there for you to learn from, and also to help you see the value in blogging and using technology to share the work that you're doing and to work openly. Hopefully that's helpful to you in helping you understand the assignment, which is simply to read some blogs and summarize and share with others. So in other words, you're reading some blog posts, you're curating for others what's there, and then just sharing that with us in the discussion. Or if you're a little braver, on your own blog. And I've posted some resources for when you want to start your own blog. And if you do decide you do want to start and you don't know where to begin, please don't hesitate to email me. I did that kind of work in Ontario years and years ago, so I have tons of resources.